Hello and welcome to another edition of Political Arena, a program designed to bring you detailed and incisive political events across Nigeria. I am Olajumoke Olatuji. On today's edition, we will be taking a look at the Ekiti governorship, the violence that has followed the campaigns and rallies, and the lessons for 2015 elections. Also, the Ogun State Labour Party and its unending tussle for leadership. This and more are focused on this edition of Political Arena. Do join us when we return.
Core TV News, expanding your view.
It's good to have you back. In Ekiti State, the political terrain is witnessing increased political activities. All the political parties are gearing so hard in marketing their candidates to the people. Already, all the three strong political parties have conducted their primaries and are ready for the main election. It is going to be a straight fight between incumbent Governor Kayode Fayemi, Ayo Fayose and Opeyemi Bamidele of the Labour Party. The People's Democratic Party has the former Governor Ayodele Fayose as its standard bearer, while the All Progressives Congress has adopted incumbent Governor Kayode Fayemi as the party's candidate. The upcoming Labour Party is parading Honorable Opeyemi Bamidele, a member of the House of Representatives. The issue of electoral violence has become a recurring decimal as the June 21 governorship election in Ekiti State approaches. Key players in the political sector have stressed the need for politicians to play according to the rules of the game in order to achieve credible and acceptable election. What then are the lessons to be learned as the 2015 general elections approach? Activists and legal practitioners have expressed their reservations on the issue.
Within the Commonwealth, India, South Africa and Ghana, if they can do it, we should be able to do it. It's an embarrassment for us when a smaller nation like Ghana next door could have peaceful transition, peaceful elections, and the world's largest democracy, India, with 551 million voters. That is the combination of the population of the United States, United Kingdom, Germany and France. They can have one election successful, and they have sworn in a new prime minister without this embarrassment and this harvest of violence for which Nigeria has become well known. That's where we should start. We shouldn't start from the fact that there has been violence here. We should start from the fact that there are other people who have done the same thing on a bigger scale, like in the case of India, and they have been without violence. You know, South Africa is seen by us in Nigeria as our rival, politically and economically. If we do not get our acts together in terms of peaceful, credible elections, we will begin to look like second best beside them. Greatness is not just a matter of numbers. It's also a matter of conduct. It's a matter of character. It's a matter of posture. It's a matter of your profile as a nation. This is not America and UK, where electoral violence is almost unknown. These are fellow third world nations, fellow developing countries. That's where the lesson lies.
You know that this march, started in 1999. It's about 15 years now. For the first time, the army has not intervened directly in the politics of Nigeria. So we have 15 years of unbroken democracy and so on. You would expect that every year will be an improvement of the previous year. Every year will be an improvement on the previous year. So that by the time we get to the 15th year, which we have gotten to, you can talk about, an election that is relatively seen to be free and fair, rancor-free, transparent, credible, and accountable, and so on. But the fact that some of the things we saw in 1999, in 2007, 2003 and so on, the electoral violence before the election and during the election and after election, the fact that we are seeing some of it or shades of that kind of behavior by both the electorate and the security agencies is clearly an indication that we have not learned so much. And it's the reality, because this is not about speculation, it's not about sentiment now. It's about what we saw that happened in Ekiti State. There was violence, physical violence in Ekiti State. And this is 15 years after the election. We've not learned much. The politicians have not learned much. The government has not learned much. The police, security force have not learned much, and the electorate have not learned much. And that is what is dangerous, and that's what is disappointing to a lot of people. We shouldn't be talking about electoral violence at this level. But the reality and the reason for that is that government in Nigeria continues to be an opportunity for self-aggrandizement, for greedy people to come in there and build not just their future, but the future of the incoming generations along their family line. And so for them, it still continues to be a do or die affair. And we cannot continue along that path, because sooner or later there will be a social explosion, and a lot of us might live in regret that we had allowed these things to get to this level.
We will be taking a break, and when we come back, we'll bring a story on Nigerian politics and 15 years of democracy. More of this when we return.
Core TV News presents a platform with presence in over 30 states of the Federation. Be sure to be had. For live coverage of events, we have the capacity to deliver from anywhere in Nigeria and beyond. Contact us now on 0803-471-8550 or 0803-724-9733, 014-533-407.
Our 24-hour news station.
Good to have you back. 15 years ago, democratic ship birthed again on the nation's political harbor amidst pomp and pageantry. Given the country's past experience, not many gave the return of this globally acclaimed system of government any chance of survival in Nigeria, especially when viewed against the backdrop of the previous republics that were ill-fated. Although many will not want to explain that at 15, the country's democracy is still young, it is, however, a statement of fact that the seamless transition from one administration to the other since 1999 is worthy of some reflection. This indeed was the scenario during the last Democracy Day, marked on the low-key on May 29 across the country, including Abuja, the nation's capital city. Most importantly, major players on the nation's political space gave their varied assessment of the nation's democratic journey. While some are of the view that the country has not done badly, others contend that the journey is far from commencing. In his own assessment, President Goodluck Jonathan says that democratic governance is now entrenched in our nation and institutions, and wholeheartedly says that Nigerians are the better for it. The scope of fundamental rights and liberties enjoyed by Nigerians over the past 15 years has been expanded beyond measure.
On my watch, we have witnessed high national economic growth rates, steady improvements, and expansion of national infrastructure, including airports and roads, the restoration of rail transportation, the efficient implementation of a roadmap for improved power supply, a revolutionary approach to agricultural production, as well as advances in education, sports, youth development, healthcare delivery, housing, water supply, and other social services.
These are the words of President Goodluck Jonathan. Do the citizens feel the same?
Since 1999, our elections, for example, had it been, government by the people, if the answer is in the negative, it then means we are not practicing democracy. If the government that you have had, what is the value of life to what is the value of life to the government? Has this government, how well, what are their plans, as regards the people? Can you truly say the programs of every government, be it at the local government level, state level, or the federal level, had it be the plan, that you would say generally this about the people? The corruption we're talking about, is it just at one level, or it permeates all strata, all level of governance? And how many people have been brought to book? These same people, these same rulers masquerading as leaders. And so if all of these are still around us, if I agree there's no perfect democracy in the world, but we should see a semblance. So that's when I would tell you that we're practicing something that is similar to democracy. Every election year, we look back at the former election year with nostalgia. Every president will come and then will condemn, only for a newer one to come, and then we now begin to compare. If somebody would tell you that come 2014, Nigerians will be comparing a president with Abacha, Nigerians will be looking at and say, oh, look, Obasanjo, as bad as he was, he's probably better. We should be progressing rather than retrogressing.
Development and democracy are inextricably bound together. And so you can't be talking about civil rule democracy without development. And so the reason why people fought hard for civil rule, quote unquote democracy, was not because they hated the military so much, was not because they wanted a substitution of civilian larceny, civilian thievery for the corruption of the military. No, it was not to civilianize dictatorship. People fought hard for democracy for a reason. And the reason why they fought so hard was because they thought that they were going to bring development about in a corporate existence and in their personal lives. 50 years on, we can say that. And to make it worse, our people are now dying much more than they were dying before.
You can talk of is that we are still, together in quotes, and then we can still go to the booth and cast what you call votes, These are the pros, and then we can now speak a bit freely in Nigeria without being arrested anyhow, which under the military you could not. These are the pros. But on the other side of the coin, I don't think we have enjoyed the dividends of democracy. Majority are living in abject poverty. Majority cannot afford 3 square meal a day. The issue of infrastructure is not there. The educational system has totally collapsed. The health sector, even the issue of energy. The factories are closing up and relocating. And so those things that really thrive in democracy, the dividends of democracy that other countries are rejoicing about, when they change their leaders in a democratic manner. We have not started to enjoy it. Even though somebody will say that these things are gradual, but for how long now? We've been since 1999, and this is 2014. Almost over 10 years, we've been practicing this so-called democracy, and majority are still living in abject poverty. They are living in squalor. They are not feeling the impact of governance. It's only those who are in government and their cronies and their friends that are actually enjoying, and they tell you that Nigeria is working, but it's only working for a few.
Until recently, no opposition party practically existed in Ogun State. Even when the names of Labour Party and People's Democratic Party came to mind, there was no other word to describe these parties except opposition in disarray. Though there has been a noticeable momentum in the membership of Labour Party in the state, the inability of members to resolve its infighting, which has polarized the party into 2 parallel lines, has continued to earn the future of the party in Ogun State. Like APC and other political parties, the struggle for the soul of Labour Party has lingered since the party was brought to the state. The Bode Simeon-led faction has continued to challenge Ringa Daniel and his own faction executive, led by the former chairman of Nigerian Labour Congress in the state, Comrade Niyi Oshoba, in court, while the Onikolobo factional secretariat, notwithstanding the recent events, is still a matter of litigation. Though the supposed inauguration of Onikolobo secretariat, which later turned out to be a reconciliation rally a fortnight ago, has not convinced many political analysts beyond reasonable doubt that the lingering power struggle in the party is over. Many have continued to question why the National Executive Council of the party, led by its chairman, Dan Nwayawu, refused to quote the tape to signify the official commissioning of the building. Rather, the event marked the official defection of the former governor from People's Party of Nigeria, PPN, to the Labour Party. At the event, the former governor appeared for the first time since 2011, when his party was defeated by ACN and publicly declared its defection to Labour Party. Beyond the old ceremony, the event has opened yet a chapter to another political history in the state. But the pending question is, could the political history be divorced from what was obtainable in the past?
The fact remains that Labour Party embraces the OGD, but OGD never embraced the Labour Party. Because from inception, even when we want to perform our inauguration to register member, he was not there. But after the outcome, he saw what was in Labour Party and he decided that it is time for him to hijack the party. I know Otumba Gbenga Daniel as a man that does not respect the law of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I have known him. I know him too well, and he also knows me. I know all the atrocities this man committed in PDP, because I kept wondering why should a party give you an opportunity to serve Ogun State for 8 years, and all you could do was to insult the former president of Nigeria, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, when they told him, not to divide the party into two. Even the incumbent president now, the present president came to meet him. He refused. He told all of them, to go away, and he's going to do his worst. But all of us can see, he came a distance third in the election. He lost his polling booth. He can challenge me in court if I'm lying. He lost his ward. He lost his polling booth. He lost his state constituency. He lost federal constituency, and he lost the senatorial constituency, and lost his state as a whole. So I do not know the magic the man is coming to tell us is going to perform in Labour Party. To say with him as the leader of Labour Party, he want to midwife us. OGD cannot midwife our party into electoral victory, because I know with him we are gone. We went to challenge, not even him per se. We went to court to challenge the legalities OGD is trying to, use in our Labour Party. Labour Party has never gone to court to challenge the leadership. But when OGD came, that we have all those inglorious days of PDP that he catapulted, you understand, with his gun of disorderness into Labour Party. He came, we went to meet him to even say whether it's a change man. But in December last year, we have to disperse the man. We did not even, remove him as a member. In our press briefing, I remember vividly we said we threw OGD away because he was not useful to what a lot of Labour Party members felt, he should be. He came into the party to disrupt it. He wants us to move our state party secretariat to his house in Asorudero. And which we told him, no, we cannot brand our party after Otumba Gbenga Daniel. It is not possible in Ogun State. He does not have that name to midwife an electoral process. He went to Abuja to go and deceive our national leaders. And that's why we went to court. That within us and national leadership, we have settled our issue. But with OGD, he must be where we want him to be. He cannot lead our party. As I'm talking to you, OGD has already fixed his cronies in all our House of Assembly seats, senatorial, House of Rep. Even himself, he claimed he want to be a senator and was declaring himself as a senatorial candidate. Those are some of the legalities we are talking about. In the issue of bribery, it was true, that I can confirm to you, because now I'm speaking to you, I am also a dramatic person in the theatre. I was certainly involved. A former commissioner of his, a former chairman of local government office, and the guy in question were the one that called us for a meeting. You see, we were in court before, and they actually asked us to withdraw on the basis of peace, and that is ready, we are ready to accommodate ourselves. All of us, we intend going to national and to our national leader, Governor Olusegun Mimiko. But along the line, OGD Abracadabra, I know him too, I know he will not change. So when we withdrew the case, all we could do was he doesn't want to see any one of us again. And I felt we don't have any business, running after him. He doesn't have any electoral value to us. We don't need anything, from him to make us have any form of electoral value. So when we told him, and the man was trying to play tricks with us, we went back to Federal High Court, where there was an injunction against him and our leadership from doing certain things in our prayer. And after that, this man still, he was still behaving as if nothing has happened. But we were just trying to bid our time, with him before, we know the final thing to do with him. But finally, the way forward is just two. It is either, I repeat, it is either Otumba Gbenga Daniel accede to our own demand on how we want to run our party, or he can take all his ESCO, the illegal one is parading, to PPN.
To tell you, there's just one Labour Party executive in Ogun State. And why do I say this? We had a Congress, INEC came to the Congress, all the security agencies were there, And INEC gave a report to us authenticating the new Oshoba-led executive, of which I'm the state secretary. There is no doubt, yes, you can be talking of 2 secretariats. Yes, there used to be 1 secretariat before we got this one, and that was at Adato, and that was around 2012, 2013. All of us were there when we were, opening that place. I was a commissioner. We had a ceremony there, and all of us were there. And you won't compare that place to this place. This is a befitting secretariat for an emerging party, for the greatest opposition party in this state, getting ready to take over government from the present administration. So, I mean, we can have as many secretariats as possible, but this is the recognized state secretariat of the party, registered with INEC, and known to all the security agencies in Ogun State. Disagreements, even within a family, there are disagreements. And in political parties, yes, we will say you have a faction where INEC refuses to give recognition to one of the 2 parties. I mean, people are bound to be, disillusioned. They are bound to be unhappy with certain developments. That does not make them a faction of the party. They can call themselves whatever, but I can tell you, yes, they are members of our party. Some of them were former members of the executive. And I want to tell you, as I am talking to you, the only recognized member of that, those 3 people parading themselves as faction is only Bode Simeon. It's only Bode Simeon that has his name with INEC. Ogini or Barabambi were never elected at any Congress. And we will agree, if you have a Congress, after 3 or 4 years, there's bound to be another Congress. So, but they will not say he is still the state chairman of this party, because their tenure had even relapsed. So I won't agree that they are factions. They are members of the party. They are not happy with some of the things that are going on, and we are working on that to ensure that at least we close ranks and we bring them in. Having said that, you see, I read it in the papers when they addressed the press. I said Otunba Gbenga Daniel or the leadership of the party was trying to bribe them with some amount, send them to Dubai. For what? For goodness sake. For what? Without being immodest, I want to tell you, politically in Ogun State, those of us in Labour Party today are veterans. We've only come to Labour Party because we discovered that it is the only true progressive party in this country today, and there's no gainsaying about that. The only true progressive party. We are not in a rush. Our intention is to take over the Southwest. Then we start to expand. When people start seeing the performances of our governors, you see what Dr. Mimiko is doing in Ondo State. You cannot compare it to all the noise being made by any of the governors in the Southwest. We are taking over this government in this state, and I can assure you, within 1-2 years, you will see a different Ogun State entirely. So I cannot imagine what anybody wants. Even as I sit down here, honestly, I cannot buy any of them for 10,000 naira.
Happening basically, it's actually a family dispute. It's a family dispute in so many ways. What we're saying is this: OGD is the leader of the Labour Party. Bode Simeon is the chairman of the party. Arabambi is the treasurer, and Ogini is the secretary of the party, as far as we are concerned. We know there have been a lot of changes, and we know there's been a lot of movements. But the point we make is this: even where there's going to be changes, our position is that it has to be done legally, because we've witnessed in this country all kinds of legal twists in elections. We do not want what happened in Rivers State to happen in Ogun State, whereby somebody is elected governor, and 2 weeks later somebody goes to court and said he was midwifed and brought about by an ESCO that is illegal. We're not asking that there will be no changes. There will be changes. It's normal in politics. The only thing permanent in politics is change. But what we're saying and what we're conversing is that it has to be done legally, and that's our position. We are aware that currently there are other there are people who are in position of authority in the state, as far as the party is concerned, addressing the issues that you've asked me. The dispute is a family thing, like I keep saying. We are doing everything possible to harmonize all our positions. That is to say, the Simeon-led executive and the current executive. We're talking to each other. That's the important thing. You know, the Labour Party is a party of ordinary people. The Labour Party is a party. We're not a party of big men. You can come here and be anything that you want to become. Because of that reason, I don't think we have very desperate people in this party. Because usually the problems with parties are desperados who want to get to office at all costs. The Labour Party is devoid of such people. I believe everybody in this party will give us a lot of value. When you want to win an election, you're talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Everybody is welcome, but of course, we must come with something to offer the party. So the point I make is that, and I maintain that, what we have and what you call a conflict is actually something for which we're talking about, and I believe it will be resolved very, very quickly in due time. If our leader OGD will try to buy anybody. Like I said to you, the issues are family issues. When there's conflict, people will say all kinds of things because of the tension and the quarrels and so on. When you're quarreling, you can say one thing or the other against each other. But the truth of the matter is that nobody's trying to bribe anybody. And what we're doing is talking to each other and wanting a reconciliation. And I believe that process is on. And that process will be concluded very, very soon. And everybody in the party will be extremely glad with the outcome.
And that's on today's edition of Political Arena, a program designed to bring you incisive and comprehensive stories on political issues. You join me next time for another edition. I am Olajumoke Olatunji. Till then, it's bye for now.